The story of Pentecost, specifically this event on Pentecost, told in Acts 2, 1 through 13, is oftentimes celebrated as the birth of the church. It's the church's birthday. Technically, we celebrated that last week on May 23rd. But I'm talking about it this week because of just kind of how it lines up, and we've been talking about what the church really means in the world today, and I kind of wanted to finish on this point of talking about this event because it actually brings up a lot of things that are connected into what the purpose of the church was and is. And that goes back to Jesus' own Great Commission, the commission that he gave his disciples who became the apostles. The idea that we are to go to all corners of the earth and spread the gospel, spread the good news. And to do that, there needed to be something to happen to allow these individuals to actually communicate with people who spoke different languages. These were all Galileans. They were, Jews living in Israel at that time. They were not necessarily as highly educated as we would think of even by the standards of their time. So it was very unlikely that any of them probably knew, had the ability to speak any languages besides a little bit of Aramaic, Hebrew, and maybe some Greek as well. That's really was probably very common for individuals at that time. But to actually then go and reach out to the entire world, they were going to be needing to be able to speak more. And that's where we see this miracle happening, where God gives them the ability to speak other languages and preach to each other. And this teaches us, I think, a very important lesson that is, again, summed up in that Great Commission, the call for us to go out and make disciples of Christ, everyone around the world. And that really is, I think, what we as the church need to always keep in mind is our focus, is this making disciples. It is very important for us to, have a positive impact in the world and to improve things as much as possible. But our other job is to bring people to relationship with God and bring them into the kingdom. And that's really important. That is the main purpose. Everything else is contributing to that. There's a lot of obviously debate about what is the best way to go about that. I personally believe that the idea of, preaching the gospel constantly, use words when necessary. It's a quote that I very much try to live within my own life. But others, see differently, and I do believe that there's positive negatives. I'm not here to have that debate with any of you at this time. I'm really here just to say that all of us need to keep this in mind. And keep in mind that that is what the early church, that is what our forefathers did. They got this gift and they went out and they spread the gospel. And we ourselves need to be doing that to our best of our abilities, regardless of where we are and regardless of our own abilities. So, as we are continuing to go through this pandemic and many of us are getting, shots and everything and getting immunity, keep this in mind. Look for opportunities around you to go out and share the good news, share the gospel of Christ with those around you within your neighborhood. And if we do that, then we will see the kingdom of God come the way that we want it to. So that is all I have for you this week. I hope that you found it helpful, that you found it informative. I'm now going to leave you all with our last worship song today, and I will see you next week.